And hello again, everyone. I'm Chris Lincoln. Welcome to a special edition of Oklahoma Sports Scene. That's right, here at the Resheet Ice Center. This is one-on-one with one of my favorite columnists and sports writers in all of the world. This is Bill Haisten, award-winning columnist at Tulsa World. And Bill, let's get first some of your background in this crazy industry.
Wow, okay. So I wrote a paper. So as a child, I was a voracious reader, right? Okay. My younger brothers, we would go to the store. My baby brother would get comic books. My middle brother would get like plastic soldiers. Remember those little plastic soldiers?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. And I would get Pro Football Digest, which was like a quarter at that time,
Yeah.
right? And I would read it. And I have a vivid memory of when I was like 7, reading a piece about what different NFL coaches like to do on 3rd and 4. They very specifically specified 3rd and 4 because it's kind of an either or down, right? Pass it or throw it or whatever. I'm sorry, pass it or run it.
Right.
And so, but that great writing, and I grew up reading the Amarillo, Texas paper. A guy named Putt Powell, who was a legend in the Texas Panhandle. I grew up reading the Dallas paper, Blackie Sherrod.
Yeah, sure.
And SI, I was given as a gift when I was 8 a subscription to SI. Yeah. And I just devoured it cover to cover every week. Even if it was something I wasn't particularly interested in, I would read it. But I was learning how to write as I read it. But 3rd grade, allegedly, I wrote a paper about I'm going to be a sports writer someday. And I'm sure everybody thought, well, you little fool, you don't know what you're talking about. And and I really didn't have a plan. I just knew I wanted to do that. And I got a break when I was 20, got a really good job at a small but excellent daily paper as a sports editor, and learned something every day. Have great relationships from that job today, even at the El Reno Tribune. My man Ray Dyer, I love you guys. And from there back to Texas, and then back to from Galveston, Texas to Tulsa World in 1990.
And became a columnist in 2016, was it, Bill?
Yep.
And won so many awards here and stuff.
The day before, weekend that Muhammad Ali died.
Oh, wow.
And that Coach Trimble announced his Lou Gehrig's disease diagnosis. That weekend, I became a columnist. Unforgettable weekend. Yeah.
I think what's also unique about you is that you're the only sports writer in Tulsa World history to cover, be a beat writer for all our major schools around here.
That's right. OU, OSU, Tulsa, and Oral Roberts. I'm the only person who's had that, the responsibility of covering those teams on an everyday basis.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool distinction.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Give us an idea of what's involved with putting a column together, Bill.
Well, paying attention. I think like a 28-year-old columnist would be great. But I think there's something to be said for having a history in a market, and I've got 35 years here now.
Sure.
And it serves me really well that I have relationships and a history at all 4 of those schools, and I know I'm on a first-name basis with everybody at the high school level here. But there's a little bit of artistry, I think, that's required, and an opinion is required, and an informed, educated, fair opinion. I don't like columnists who just go in, in attack mode just for the sake of.
Yeah, that's not your style. I know.
Well, no, I think sometimes I read stuff that I think I don't know that this person even believes what they're writing here, but they'll know it'll get a lot of pops. Because of you put a sexy web headline on it, and bang, 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 you get a lot of pops. But no, you got to be fair, and I think it serves me well now to be an older guy, and to have 35 years, well, more than that even if you go back to my El Reno days, but 40 plus years of Oklahoma sports.
How many columns a week, Bill?
It depends. Okay. Anywhere, a minimum of 5 and a maximum of. Like every Sunday in football season, there's 2. I'll write one on the preps as a follow to what happened the night before or Friday night, and then I'll be at a ball game. So anywhere from between 5 and 7, I guess.
When you come back, we're going to get right into it. Bill Haisten, some of his memories, some of his great stories, some of his great columns on the Oklahoma Sooners. Stay with us on Oklahoma Sports Scene Special Edition with Bill Haisten.
It's time to get fired up, Tulsa. Your Tulsa Oilers indoor football team is back. Friday night, May 30th, 7:05 at the BOK Center. Let's pack the house. Don't miss the action when the Oilers roll over the Quad City Steamwheelers. It's Military Appreciation Night, and the first 1,000 fans get a free t-shirt. This is your chance to experience the lightning-fast, hard-hitting, pap-popping excitement of professional indoor football. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Our story. It lives in Tulsa, where the spirit of the past lives alongside us and urges us on toward a vibrant future. Because our story is still being written. It's the story of Tulsa, told by the journalists who live it and love it. Whether it's covering our rich history, bringing you the hidden gems of the food scene, or following the action in local sports. And here, in the Tulsa World, is where it comes to life.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
And we're back on Oklahoma Sportscene with our former Oklahoma Sports Writer of the Year, Bill Haisten of the Tulsa World, a longtime columnist there. He's covered all of the big schools here in the state and the area. So, Bill, let's start first with the Oklahoma Sooners. When did you get with OU, and talk about some of your great memories there?
Oh, wow. Well, okay, so I have a vivid memory of being in Houston, Texas on Thanksgiving Day of 1971, being a little guy, but the Wishbone Sooners with Greg Pruitt, who at that time was my idol, absolute idol. Wow. Even though I grew up, I got to admit, I was a University of Texas fan because I was down there.
Down in Houston,
I never disliked OU, never, because they looked cool. They had this amazing, flashy offense. And Barry Switzer, because of the head coach, he's flashy. And the white cleats and all of it. And I thought OU was a lot more cool, actually, than Texas at that time. But I was a Texas fan. And I watched the game of the century on Thanksgiving.
OU Nebraska, right?
1971. Wow. And it just stuck with me, that game, and I'll never forget it. But then all through the 70s, obviously, Coach Switzer in the 80s. And the 90s was a tough period for both Bedlam schools because they were both coming off a really tough probation in the late 80s, right? And it took, Coach Gibbs. History has not been kind to Coach Gibbs. He won a bunch of games. He just didn't beat Texas, Colorado, and Nebraska.
He was 44, 3-2, 1989 through 1994, but didn't beat Texas.
Right. Well, I mean, Coach Gibbs was a really, really, really good football coach, but I don't know that anybody would have succeeded in following a Barry Switzer right out of the gate. I mean,
follow the king.
I mean, Gary Gibbs essentially was Frank Solich in Oklahoma, and that's a tough follow to come in behind a guy like Tom Osborne or Barry Switzer, and it's just hard. But then, and of course, the Schnellenberger year was
1995.
Decidedly weird. My son was born on a Tuesday, and that next 2 days later, I went to Norman for basically to spend 48 hours embedded with the program because Howard gave me permission. I said I want to be, and by that I want to go in the pregame locker room. I want to be there at halftime with you. I want to be in the postgame locker room. I want to be with the team. As a fly on the wall, not in some intrusive way, but and Howard, to my surprise, said okay. And so my son's 2 days old, and I'm leaving for Norman for a weekend, and then they start 3-0 that season. They're 10th in the country. Colorado comes in to open Big 8 play, last season of the Big 8. and first time game day ever came to Oklahoma soil, ESPN Game Day. That game, night game, prime time, great energy in Norman. Here we go, we're back.
Yes.
And Colorado just waxed OU that night. And OU really stumbled the rest of the way. Howard resigns late that season.
5-5-1.
Yeah, 5-5-1 after a 3-0 start. And then, of course, John Blake gets that job for 3 years.
12-22.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
Time
Great
for
guy, too. Just
Oklahoma.
super guy.
Great guy.
Great recruiter.
Right. And a really good, actually a really good position coach.
Yeah.
And he had been with the Dallas Cowboys before he got that job.
Right, yeah.
That people forget that.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Stoops.
The Stoops era, 1999.
And who knew?
Wow.
You know, I mean,
Never been a head coach.
No.
Yeah.
But he was the hottest assistant in college football at that time. They had won the national title at Florida.
Yeah.
You knew he was impressive. You know, he won the press conference. He and Carol show up, and they look like John and Jackie Kennedy showed up. You know, good-looking young people, dynamic,
a lot of energy.
Yeah, and then, but you know, the OU fan base by that time was pretty beat down, and you know, obviously incredibly hopeful, but you're coming off of you know, there wasn't even a 10-win season in the 90s, not one.
Wow.
In fact, it's a great trivia question. The only 10-win season in the state of Oklahoma in football in the 90s was TU in 91. That's it. So here comes Bob Stoops. This amazing convergence of Bob Stoops, Mike Leach, Josh Heupel, a bunch of good receivers, and then a defensive personnel that became a great defense.
Yeah, right.
And they win 7 games. Probably should have won about 9 that year. Should have won the bowl game, the Ole Miss.
That's right.
Independence Bowl.
Independence Bowl. How about that? Huh?
Yeah. Oh, that was Y2K. We thought our laptops were going to melt down in the press box at midnight because everybody's freaking out about that. So you go 7-5. You go into the next season with but you obliterate every passing record that season.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the air raid, right? You got Mike Leach, and Mike Leach leaves for Texas Tech, and yet you kept all those players. Like the whole, so many of those guys came back, but the key guy was Heupel.
Yeah.
And who knew? But you go on this amazing 13-0 run. Red October was the most electrifying month of football I can ever remember. To beat a favored Texas team the way they did, just hammered them. To go to Manhattan to face the second-ranked Kansas State Wildcats, win a classic up there against Bob's former school and against Bob's mentor,
Bill Snyder.
And Bill Snyder. Well, I guess Bob's mentor really is Spurrier, but you know, certainly Coach Snyder was a very tremendous influence on all those, both Stoops brothers, Brent Venables, on and on.
What a coaching treat.
And then not infamous. I say infamous because Al Jerkins got shot in the face with pepper spray when the game ended. But the Nebraska game.
Oh, wow.
In Norman.
Yeah.
In 2000. Unbelievable. And you know, that's the only time I've ever seen the crowd storm the field in Norman until the Alabama game last year.
So I don't know what OU missed the most, when Bob Stoops retired and left, or when Bill Haisten left and went to Oklahoma State.
Well, okay, so I don't think the fans shed any tears over that, but it was a few weeks before the start of the 04 season, and our staff had some. It was a necessary play for me to move from OU to OSU.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yikes! I got to catch up on relationships and give me a media guide and let me memorize this thing now. And because I had never covered the Cowboys in football, I had been around and I was certainly familiar with it, but not on an everyday basis. I had a month to get ready for a season. Well, that's Les Miles' final season. They start really hot. They're ranked top 15 in the country. Wheels kind of fall off toward the end, but what happened that was at the front end of what I've always called the most important period of my career is that Boone Pickens had started to get involved in a big way. He had cut that first big check the year before, Chris.
Okay.
$20 million on the stadium.
Yeah.
So the south side of the stadium was done in time for the 04 season. The rest of the stadium still looked like old Lewis Field.
Yeah.
So I get that job. Mike Gundy gets hired after Les Miles leaves for LSU. Mike Gundy gets hired in January of 05. And then Mike Holder becomes the athletic director later that year. And then Boone, a few months after that, cuts a check for $165 million for the stadium, the largest gift that ever do an athletic department, largest single gift ever to any athletic department in the history of college athletics. The stadium gets bowled in completely. Boone becomes a newsmaker. Mike Holder certainly became a renowned athletic director. Mike Gundy became a rock star with the mullet, and the program gets built. And then Twitter happens. And so that extended my ability to reach, more people that way. And so I covered them through the championship season of 2011, and then I covered Tulsa for 2 years after that. But I always say that those 8 seasons, 04 through 11, most important in my career. And honestly, I got to give a nod to Twitter because I got a lot of followers, and it helped me reach a lot of people. And of course, that was the greatest era of Oklahoma State football, I would say, with regard to winning and the stadium. The stadium development was such a game changer over there.
We talk some more Oklahoma State. Nobody is closer in the immediate that I know of than he was to Mike Gundy. Still is. Talk about that when we come back here on Oklahoma Sportscene after this timeout.
The Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The Wee Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. Wee Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
It's time to get fired up, Tulsa. Your Tulsa Oilers indoor football team is back. Friday night, May 30th, 7:05 at the BOK Center. Let's pack the house. Don't miss the action when the Oilers roll over the Quad City Steamwheelers. It's Military Appreciation Night, and the first 1,000 fans get a free t-shirt. This is your chance to experience the lightning-fast, hard-hitting, pap-popping excitement of professional indoor football. Get your tickets now at TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Back with Oklahoma Sports Team, back with Bill Haisten, and we're living some Oklahoma State Cowboy memories here. So you mentioned that probably the best period of your life as far as coverage,
my career,
right?
yeah,
career.
yeah.
Covering the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
Not the best, but the most impactful, I would say.
Right,
maybe. Yeah. I mean, I'm enjoying it right now.
Sure.
But
I just,
yeah.
I'm still marveled. Nobody's been closer to Mike Gundy than you. How did you manage to do that? I can't get Mike on this show. He's my white whale. I've been chasing him forever.
Right. He quit doing a lot of state media about 15 years ago, and I wish he would loosen up and do more of it. But I don't get a vote. But I was there every step of the way through Mike's first 8 seasons, right? And I covered the good and the bad and the great, and there wasn't much bad because they go from 4 wins his first season to a couple of 7s and then 2 9s in a row. And then they win 11 games with Brandon Whedon at quarterback. And then they win, arguably could have won the national championship in 2011 if not for a field goal. A field goal that the officials contended was an inch wide, and I'm not so sure when you look at the replay that it wasn't good. And of course, tragically, that game was played on a Friday, about 30 hours after Kurt Budke and Miranda Serna, the OSU women's basketball coaches, perished in a plane crash in Arkansas. one of the more unusual and difficult weekends of work I've ever had was that weekend. But I think just the fact that I was around there so much during Mike's formative years in that job, and at the same time, I got to say, I might as well be candid about this part of it, but the Oklahoma City paper at that time kind of changed people every year on the OSU beat, and there I am every year. And I think Mike knew he could trust me, but I also covered the program very objectively. Like I said, the good, the bad, and the great. And there wasn't a whole lot of bad, but there was some tough stuff. And but I think Mike realized that I was going to be fair with him, and we just kind of clicked when we would talk, And so I have interviewed Mike Gundy more than any one person in my career.
Yeah.
I don't have a clicker on it, but I know that's a fact.
That was a really tough year for Mike Gundy.
Oh, baby.
Oklahoma State Cowboy fans this past season, nobody could have seen that coming. Bill, I mean, I had him as a preseason favorite to win the Big 12 and 0-9 in the conference, and Coach Gundy had to take a pay cut, and there was talk about firing him. And your thoughts on that whole thing?
Well, I mean, Mike had a misstep in November. I think it was the day before the election, that Monday.
Oh, with the fans?
He says he wasn't directing those comments. He was being critical of fans, but he didn't. He says he wasn't specifying Oklahoma State fans, but I mean, there was a lot of immediate pushback on that, like people calling to say my donations are gonna go away now here for a while, and there were some really upset people. The university was upset. They finished at 0-9. The regents meet December 6th, I think it was. It was December 6th, to discuss the status of Mike Gundy as the head football coach, which is a damn shame.
Yeah.
You think you met a 20-year guy. How many schools have a 20-year and with 18 consecutive winning seasons before that, and with pretty good quarterback before that? Yeah. 2/3 of his life he's been in that building at Oklahoma State. So Mike gets through that. And, I got to say, this spring practice, we're a minute and a half. I'll keep this short. But I got to say this. At the beginning of spring practice, Mike looked tired to me. He looked like a guy who'd been through a rough winter.
Yeah.
And by the end of spring practice, now keep in mind, his staff is completely rebuilt. And that broke his heart, too. Well, his roster has been rebuilt by about 50%, and if not 60%. But he had to replace all those coaches with whom he'd had a pretty long-standing relationship, and I know that hurt him a lot because it's a people business, and he's not a robot. He's got human emotions. So, but I got to tell you, by the end of spring practice, he's a different guy. He looked better. He was very accommodating in the media sessions, but I wondered too if he looked better and felt better, maybe because he was sleeping better, because he likes what he saw in the spring from his roster, and he's liking what he's seeing from the staff so far.
October carries over to the fall for Mike and the Cowboys. I can't leave Oklahoma State just a few seconds left here. Eddie Sutton, the impact he's had on the program and on you.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. For years and years I wrote about Eddie Sutton once again gets snubbed by the Naismith Hall of Fame.
That killed me.
And then whatever year that was, before COVID, I guess, I get the call. I think from Scott. He says, I think he's getting in. And so it was glorious to finally be able to write about that. The only problem with Eddie Sutton in that era of basketball is he set the bar up here, and I don't know that they can ever get back to that because holy cow! I mean, 2 Final Fours and annual, if not greatness, really good competitive teams every year for 16 years. It was a Camelot time for Oklahoma State basketball, and it was great, especially when OSU football got it going. Yeah. Except that football got it going right after basketball started to kind of come back to earth. So it'd be nice to see OSU get basketball back to a good level and keep it there.
Come back with Bill, talk about TU and ORU right after this.
The We Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town, is the only place you can skate like the pros. With 2 rinks, there's always time to strap on the blades and hit the ice. The We Street Ice Center at 43rd and Yale is your family fun destination. Try out the game simulator rooms or hit the arcade. When you get hungry, grab a bite at Puck's Sports Bar and Grill with delicious food, great drink specials, and more. It's Midtown Tulsa's coolest entertainment center. We Street Ice Center, the coolest place in town. Come get your skate on.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories in our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts, and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on-site to assure the perfect fit, so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's formal wear and fine clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
Indoor football is back, Tulsa, and season tickets are going quick. Don't miss Saturday night entertainment starting as low as $9 a month. The Tulsa Oilers indoor football team kicks off again in March, Saturday nights, 7 p.m. The OK Center. Season tickets are on sale now. Go to TulsaOilersFootball.com. That's TulsaOilersFootball.com. Get your season tickets now. Don't miss your chance to experience the fast-paced, helmet-hitting, pad-popping excitement of professional indoor football. TulsaOilersFootball.com.
Back to Bill Haisten, now talk about the Golden Hurricane. Bill, we just had a TU Hall of Fame class inducted, and one that included one of the great basketball teams and one of the great coaches you ever had here.
99-2000 Golden Hurricane. Crazy season. But the best team in TU history, with all due respect to Tubby's teams, and certainly Nolan Richardson's teams, is great. NIT championship team. How would you like to see a tournament with those? The best of the Tubby, Nolan, and Bill teams going at it.
Yeah.
Fantastic basketball at TU. I really miss great basketball at TU. I know the TU fan base misses it too. And, hopefully Eric Conkle can get that going. But the 99-2000 Golden Hurricane is my favorite, probably the favorite college basketball team I've ever covered.
Right. One went to the Elite Eight, right?
Yeah, and well, 2 baskets shy of beating North Carolina to go to the Final Four. And I would contend that they got upset by that Carolina team. That was not a vintage, great North Carolina team.
Yeah.
It was a really good one. But Tulsa was fantastic that year. And just like OSU probably could have won the national title in 2011. It's not crazy to suggest that the 2000 Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Now, Bill Self says Michigan State clearly was the best team in the country that year, and they did win it all.
Yeah.
But man, I would have paid a lot of money for a ticket to watch Tulsa against Tom Izzo, who for about that long was a TU assistant in the 80s.
Really?
Yes, for oh my gosh, J.D. Barnett.
Okay.
Yeah, just for. In fact, in the off season, Izzo gets hired here, works here for a few weeks, and then Michigan State says, "Hey, we got a position, come back." So he went back. So never coached in season, but Izzo was here for a little bit. But great basketball team. Bill Self, 99-2000. Billy Gillespie was on that staff.
Right,
Norm Roberts was on that. Norm Roberts retired today.
Yeah.
In fact, he announced his retirement
Yeah,
today. Yeah. So Bill Self, as a young coach, became a national rock star during that season. And of course, Illinois throws a bunch of money at him, and he goes there for 3 years, and then in Kansas, he 2-time national champion and Hall of Famer.
And one of the great guys too. He's super fellow.
It's so funny about Bill. Like, I covered him at Oral Roberts.
Right.
And he's a first-time head coach, right? And I get to know him really well. And I'll never forget sitting with him, I guess, at the end of the 95-96 season. They finished that season with 10 wins in a row. They were like 18-10. They were like 55th in the RPI. And he's like, I think we may get in the NIT. He was so hopeful of getting in the NIT.
Yeah.
Did not get in it. He was devastated. And now look at Bill. I mean, Bill Self now, right?
Wow.
I mean, he can tell us where he'll be in March of the next rest of his life. He'll be in the NCAA tournament. But Bill Self, to have had him in this market coaching at TU and ORU for 7 years, he's a Mount Rushmore guy with regard to Tulsa basketball history.
You know, we talked about this a lot, Bill. We've discussed it before. The University of Tulsa, smallest in Division I, in normal-wise, smallest alumni base. They've always kind of fought above their weight. And had some really good moments in football, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the last 20 plus years. I mean, there's been 5 10-win seasons and some others that were really, really good seasons. You had Steve Cragthorpe was a great coach at Tulsa. Todd Graham, they bring him back, and he lights it up.
Yeah.
He and Gus Malzahn, are you kidding? And Chad Morris there for a season or two.
Yeah.
Really fantastic offensive football during those years with Paul Smith at quarterback. Bill Blankenship does it a different way, but that's the most accomplished team in TU history was Bill's 2012 Hurricane team that won 11 games, won the conference, beat Iowa State in the bowl game and at the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah.
And had 3 amazing tailbacks, Trey Watts, and I shouldn't start rolling out names. Because one of the 3 I've already forgotten.
Yeah.
Alex Singleton scored like 40 touchdowns that year. Fantastic. Only gave up 9 sacks in 14 games, and while recording 53, they were plus 44 on sacks. So TU has been good in football before. There were moments with Philip Montgomery, and now you got Trey Lamb. Woo! How about that? We almost got clocked by a hockey puck.
Yeah, the Racing Ice Center here.
Hey, well, that's right. But Trey Lamb, who you guys have gotten to know, I think Trey Lamb is destined to be a star, and I think he will be somewhere else in 3 years. But that's a good thing if he's there for a good reason, which is that he, gets TU back on track. I think he's a really charismatic, sharp guy who's destined for something big.
And Oral Roberts University. Think of ORU. Think of basketball. They got some exciting basketball coaches and exciting basketball players at Oral Roberts.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 51 years ago, ORU played in an Elite 8 game at the Mabee Center. At that time, the almost brand new Mabee Center, against the Kansas Jayhawks, and had a 7 or 9 point lead with about 4 minutes left to go to the Final Four to play John Wooden's. Let's see, 74. That was NC State won it that year, but I think they beat UCLA. Anyway, ORU, which at that time, Chris, the university had only been in existence 9 years, and I think 65 was their first basketball season, and here we go. They're this close to going to the Final Four. Great teams. Richard Fuqua, legendary guy, scored 40 points like other guys scored 20 points. Very routine for him to get 40. That's ORU became a nationally known brand in the 70s. They kind of took a step back in the 80s. They're still mostly competitive. Then there was a real lull period, and then Bill Self gets hired, gets it going. Barry Henson sustained it for 2 years. Scott Sutton there for 8. Oh my gosh, was it 18 years, I believe, until he was fired in 2017.
18 seasons, and Paul and Bill stepped in, took him to the Sweet 16.
Well, I was going to say, Scott, his firing was disgusting to me at the time, but they hired a guy who really got it going. And in 2021, holy cow, ORU was 1 bucket away from beating Arkansas in the Sweet 16. Paul Mills had 2 great NCAA tournament teams. That one, it goes to the Sweet 16, plus his 2023 team was 21-0 in the conference, and had the misfortune of drawing Duke in the first round. But Paul Mills now at Wichita State, and now ORU's got another Corey Barnett, new head coach over there, and he's a lot like Trey Lamb in that young and super energetic, same age, mid-30s, and we'll see how it looks.
I don't know if people remember, Oral Roberts has made 7 appearances in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
They've also been to 8 national invitational tournaments. And of course, just recently, 2023, the Sweet 16. We come back and talk about the phenomenon that it is the Oklahoma City Thunder right after this. He's covered that too.
Winning racing action is back this spring at Remington Park. The top horses in quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing are featured throughout the month of May at Remington Park. Saturday, May 31st is the final night of the season. It's Champions Night, led by Oklahoma's richest race, the $1 million Heritage Place Futurity. The Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday racing at 4 p.m. Champions Night on May 31st begins at 5 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Founded in 1960, Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing has been dressing gentlemen for over half a century. We are family owned and operated, offering premium brand tuxedos and accessories at our Tulsa store on South Harvard. Bashira's also does made-to-measure suits, sports coats, dress shirts and slacks, and a top line of sportswear. We do tailoring on site to assure the perfect fit so you will look your very best for that special occasion. Ed Bashira's Formal Wear and Fine Clothing, an Oklahoma tradition.
The Tulsa Whalers are fresh off another playoff season. Don't let the ice cool down. Get your season tickets now for next year and save big. Season tickets start as low as $19 per month. Get your tickets at TulsaOilers.com. That's TulsaOilers.com. Experience hard-hitting, glove-dropping, pulse-pounding, glass-rattling kind of thrill. Season tickets are available now starting at only $19 per month. TulsaOilers.com. This is your town, your team, your Tulsa Oilers hockey.
It was July 3rd, 2008. Seattle Supersonics came to Oklahoma, became the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bill Haisten, some great memories of Thunder basketball still going on.
Yeah. So I was there at courtside, and keep in mind that 2005 Hurricane Katrina happens in New Orleans. The NBA team there, the Hornets, are displaced because of the storm damage. They can't play downtown New Orleans. Mick Cornett, who you know, I know, of course, you knew him from the television business, but he had become the mayor by that time. Mick Cornett, Oklahoma City had a 2-year-old arena at the time. Mick Cornett has the brilliant idea to call David Stern, the commissioner of the NBA, and say, hey, if we could be of any help, if they need a place to play a few games, we got a new gym here, and you're welcome to come. And we'll roll out the red carpet. Ended up getting that team for 2 seasons while New Orleans got cleaned up. But when David Stern saw the reaction from sponsors, corporate sponsors, and how overwhelming it was, and how the attendance was sustained at a big level, 18,000 consistently, David Stern was like, oh. Oklahoma, who knew? Right. And then, you know, who was a hero kind of in that process of getting a team here? Clay Bennett, obviously, Oklahoma guy, bought the team, bought the Seattle Supersonics. Right. And he gave that market the option of not renovating Key Arena, but build us a new arena. And they said no. Yeah. They had invested in a new ballpark and in fixing up the old King Dome, which they ended up dynamiting not long after that. But Kathy Taylor, the Tulsa mayor at the time, she was part of the presentation in New York. And the NBA wanted to know, is the Tulsa market going to be a supportive factor in this? And Kathy Taylor said all the right things. And she got credit from the Thunder organization, since she really helped tip this in our favor ultimately. And then, but she's been proven right, I got to say, because this is a crazy stat to me, but on a consistent basis for pretty much since they arrived here, 8 to 9% of all season tickets sold year to year to year are to Tulsa County residents. Wow. And think about that. That's like 1,200 people a game. Make that drive from Tulsa County. So, but now here we are, 17th season. Thunder opens game 1 of the Western semis tonight against the Denver Nuggets. It'll be the 62nd home playoff game for the Thunder since they started this playoff run in 2010. So it's almost a full season of home playoff games. I mean, a full regular season just a playoff game. So I would say, consider we had no pro sports here. You go from that to being spoiled rotten. I think it's been an amazing situation to get NBA basketball.
It really has. They qualified for their first playoffs in 2009-10 season, won their first division title 2010-11. They won their first Western Conference championship 2011-2012.
Yep.
The NBA Finals, the fourth time in franchise history, first time since they were the '96 Supersonics. Now they're making a heck of a run. The best team they've had right now. Think of the player: Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. I mean,
James Harden.
God,
Well, how about that? In 3 consecutive drafts, they get Kevin in 07, Russell in 8, Harden in 09.
Boy.
And they're all 3 going to the Hall of Fame.
Sam Presti.
And they've all 3 been MVPs.
Yeah. How about Sam Presti's work?
Well, 2019, 3 years removed from Kevin Durant leaving.
Yeah.
You know, and you think, oh man, are the good times really over for good? You know, and you think, although they were still getting the playoffs, but they weren't advancing in the playoffs with Russell. Russell gets traded to Houston, and then Paul George gets traded to the Clippers. And the return on those trades was so amazing. It was like the Herschel Walker trade for the Cowboys 30-something years ago. But Sam Presti still has, he has compiled the greatest list of draft picks, maybe in pro sports history. And, they've drafted beautifully. SGA's acquisition in the George trade, obviously, who knew that he would be the next face of the organization. He's a great player. He's about to win the MVP. And Sam Presti's got all these draft picks, and he's drafted really well with the ones he has used so far, and he's got a whole bunch more over the next 5 drafts.
Oklahoma Thunder, they are the force to be certain in sports here in Oklahoma. Come right back to Bill Haisten, talk about the great high school sports programs in the state of Oklahoma and some of the major changes coming up right after this break.
Winning racing action is back this spring at Remington Park. The top horses in quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing are featured throughout the month of May at Remington Park. Saturday, May 31st is the final night of the season. It's Champions Night, led by Oklahoma's richest race, the $1 million Heritage Place Futurity. The Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday racing at 4 p.m. Champions Night on May 31st begins at 5 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Pitch, Casey lines it down the left field line. Drillers win!
Baseball, fireworks, food, and family, it's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. Whether you want to catch every game or select nights, we know you will have a great time at the ballpark. We're proud to offer a variety of membership options, so don't wait. Contact a Drillers rep who will personally help you find the right plan for you. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
Back on Oklahoma Sportscene with Tulsa World star columnist Bill Haisten. Bill, you've coached some great college teams, great college athletes. But I'll tell you, high school sports is really special in the state of Oklahoma.
Well, it is, and it's especially special, I guess, in Tulsa area, Tulsa area with regard to football.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! And I would say the godfathers of what we have today in Tulsa area football, certainly Alan Trimble and Bill Blankenship, because not only did they lift, now Jinx was really good before Allen, but oh my gosh, what Allen did was obviously historic with 6 championships to start his run as a head coach. And but it was like Jinx would do something and Union would counter and back and forth, and they took coaches' salaries to a much different level too. But what we have today with facilities in this market, the 3A schools in this market are fantastic. Jinx and Union were so influential. And keep in mind too, for I want to say 22 years, starting in '96, nobody, it was either Jinx or Union won every state championship from '96 through 2017. So 22 seasons, I believe. So, and then but more recently, Broken Arrow breaks through with the championship in 18. And then Owasso won, oh no, I was wrong, 2016 was the last time it was the Jinx or Union every year. But then Bill Blankenship wins it in 17 and 19 at Owasso.
Yeah.
BA wins it in 2018 with David Alexander. And then a couple of years after that, Bixby shows up.
Lauren Montgomery.
Yeah, who, as we speak now, Lauren and the Bixby Spartans have won 10 championships in 11 seasons. Let me tell you something. It's Michael Knight is sitting over my left shoulder.
Right.
Michael would agree with me. I believe that it is not appreciated at the level it should be. It's not talked about at the level it should be. It's amazing.
He's nodding his head over there.
Okay,
yes.
and you know, in Bixby with 17 or 18 starters back this season, and a kid who will become a 3-year starter at quarterback, plus, and the value of this cannot be overstated. Lauren, throughout this dynasty run, has had the same offensive coordinator, Tyler Schneider, and the same defensive coordinator, Rodney Flowers. And so you've got that brain trust, all that intellectual candle power with a community that has bought in to the ultimate degree, right? And they do it for the most part with Bixby kids. I mean, K through 12. Sure. They don't get many transfers. They just
really
don't.
Raise their game too and came to facilities. They're were they like
well,
one or two shower heads or something?
Well, right. No, that's right. Now the new locker room / offices facility is amazing.
And that video board.
Oh, the video board's fantastic. Yeah. And they got a brand new high school that horseshoes basically the south end zone of the stadium, which I think is kind of a funny metaphor. Not funny, but I mean, it's kind of a fitting metaphor. It's like
football spires on top of their
football is real important around here.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep the spires, but the next bond, as I understand it, Bixby will come out of that either with a new stadium or an extensively renovated stadium and an indoor facility. But what Union did, 4 years ago or whatever, with their stadium,
incredible,
unmatched, in Oklahoma. And I don't know that anybody ever will attempt to match it because A, it was really expensive, and B, I think it'd be a great place to watch championship football games, but we'll never see that either.
And Bill, I don't know if you've ever had a year with such transformation of coaches retiring, coaches changing jobs. It's amazing. This fall is going to have a real different look.
It was dizzying, I got to say, what happened in December. It started with Broken Arrow, and Josh Blankenship left Broken Arrow, and then Jinx, Union, and the trickle-down effect for Kirk Frederick's resignation at Union is Antonio Graham, after one great season at Owasso, goes back to his alma mater at Union.
Who comes out of retirement?
And Bill Blankenship comes out of a 1 year. He pauses his retirement, I guess. After 1 year, goes back to Owasso, and then there's this tremendous sophomore quarterback at Owasso who completed 77% of his passes last season as a sophomore starter.
Wow.
And, of course, Owasso undefeated until they lose by this much to Bixby in another championship, a real classic.
2-point conversion.
Yeah, Bixby converts on a 2-point play, wins that game, one of the great championship games in Oklahoma history.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Owasso runs the table instead, but they return a lot of those kids who went 12-0 before that, and including the quarterback Drew Frankenfield, who's going to be, and as I understand it, has gotten taller and bigger, and is ready to be maybe the best quarterback in the state.
Oklahoma schools still have their portal already open, and a lot of people transfer back and forth. Bill just wrote a recent column, really fascinating and scary, but NIL coming to high school level too, Bill.
Right. Well, I mean, it's already here. It was legalized a couple of years ago, and like I wrote, I hadn't written about it in May of 23 or May of 24 because it just didn't seem like much of a thing yet. But now I hear about it a lot, as in these schools are on the brink of or are starting to create some collectives for fundraising purposes for their athletes at their school. I haven't seen it. I just know that there are already a few area high school athletes who are already getting some NIL situations. And so we'll see. I mean, but when these coaches openly, like Travis Hill did in the Sunday Tulsa World and Bill Blankenship did, they openly acknowledge that these collectives are going to be created for that purpose, there's no going back. It's coming, and I say it's coming. It's already here, but it's about to really go to a different level.
Come back with our Remington Report and the final segment with Bill Haisten after this break.
Winning racing action is back this spring at Remington Park. The top horses in quarter horse paint and Appaloosa racing are featured throughout the month of May at Remington Park. Saturday, May 31st is the final night of the season. It's Champions Night, led by Oklahoma's richest race, the $1 million Heritage Place Futurity. The Remington Park Racing Week is Thursday through Sunday. First race 6 p.m. nightly, Sunday racing at 4 p.m. Champions Night on May 31st begins at 5 p.m. The best racing, simulcast racing, and non-stop jackpot casino action is at Remington Park.
Baseball, fireworks, food, family. It's all in Tulsa at One Oak Field. Score your Drillers season membership today with plans and prices fit for every fan. It's all in Drillville for 2025.
All racing right now in May at Remington Park gears towards the big Champions Night on May 31st. Some key stakes races have been run, offering a preview of older horses coming up later on in the month. Also, we now know the field for the $1.1 million Heritage Place Futurity, the main event on May 31. First up, the older horses. The long-distance runners have not sorted out who the best is on track yet, as the Pauls Valley Stakes proved on May 3rd. They're off in the Pauls Valley Stakes. Great start for O'Donovan Rosa. Fast Flashing is right there as well. Moving up Winchester, fourth early on. Invincible Streak. From the widest post, FL Rizzo rolling along, taking over fourth with 3 furlongs left. The back two, Catch the Seagull. The trailer, Rocky Later, 7 from the front. Fast Flashing has the nose in front of O'Donovan Rosa, who hugs the rail and saves ground. Quarter mile to go in the Pauls Valley. Winchester angling out, saving ground. Invincible Streak now starting to come on in fourth. Top of the stretch, Fast Flashing is there. O'Donovan Rosa is going to have to get to work. These two are the furlong to go in the Pauls Valley. It's Fast Flashing still there by a pair. No answer for O'Donovan Rosa. Winchester now third. Fast Flashing is going to pull an upset here in the Pauls Valley over O'Donovan Rosa by 3. Fast Flashing pulled a minor upset, knocking off O'Donovan Rosa, a past distance champ at Remington, who failed in his bid to win the Pauls Valley Stakes for a third straight year. Next up for the 870-yard group, the Remington Park Distance Championship on May 31. Those getting ready for the Debbie Schaff Remington Park Championship on May 31st went to the gate for the Grade 1 Leo on May 3rd. They're off in the Leo Stakes. Great start inside for Shaker's Nose Secret, past the temporary rail on the lead by a good half length, maybe more. Unrelentless powering on, trying to come on outside Mr. Michael and A.B. Boogie from in between runners. Cardiac Cowboy launching a rally. Here comes Mr. Michael going for the front with Shaker's No Secret. Mr. Michael going on with it and wins it by a half length. Mr. Michael wins his second stakes race of the season with a Leo performance that definitely has him set for the Remington Park Championship later this month. The top 2-year-olds at Remington Park have made it for the field for the $1.1 million Heritage Place Futurity. 2 nights of 350-yard trials were held, with the fastest emerging from race and trial 5 on May 8th. They're off. Good start inside for the Gray Calling Chicks right there. Also away sharply, Eagle Heart trying to split rivals, and now moving well outside. Just Flash the Cash goes for the front. Just Flash for the Cash outside to the inside. Calling Chicks. Calling Chicks inside now, starting to pull clear. It'll be Calling Chicks on the inside, getting there by almost a full length. Calling Chicks led the way Thursday, May 8th for trainer Buddy Clay and jockey Roman Cruz. Other qualifiers from the first night of trials: DR America's Dynasty, Hawkeye Vision, Just Flash the Cash, and Effortless Favorite. 5 more qualifiers were found on Friday night, May the 9th, with the fastest qualifier coming out of an early race of 13. They're off. Fast My Brothers came away sharply inside. It's JW showing some run as well. Fast My Brothers and JW, they hook up to the far inside of the rail. Cyber Command 3 trying to get it rolling now, looking for a run. And here it comes, DR Whiskey on ice. But JW has the advantage late. It's JW on top and going on to win it by 3/4. JW wins race 3 and puts up the top time of the night, 17.407 seconds. Owned by Elizabeth Logan, she won the Heritage Place Futurity in 2022 with Trace Crystals. D. Keener trains. Jesus Ayala was the winning jockey. JW puts up the best time of 5 on Friday. The others qualifying to the Heritage Place Futurity on Friday, May 9th. Just a Good Angel, Flying Policy 1-2-3, Cyber Command 3, and Coronado's 1-2-3. The Preakness Stakes is featured via simulcast from Pimlico and Baltimore on Saturday, May 17th. Remington's first race is at noon on May 17 with the Preakness at 6 p.m. Thursday and Friday racing on May 15 and 16 begin at 6 p.m. Sunday afternoon racing May 18th starts at 4 p.m. In Oklahoma City at Remington Park, I'm Dale Day. Now back to Sportscene.
Let's finish off our special one-on-one with Tulsa World sports columnist Bill Haisten. Bill, all your years here, and columnist in 2016 with the World, so 2000. What stories, what personalities, one or two that really stick out in your mind?
Well, I made this list of names that I have people I've gotten to know or got to interview because I am with the Tulsa World.
Right.
And it's an amazing list. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? But I have to say, if there's like one day that I would put in a time capsule, it was in the spring of '93, and it was the second Tulsa Charity Fight Night event. Now this is a couple of days before the event, or maybe the day before, and Bill Connors, who brought me to Oklahoma, legendary columnist at the World, Hall of Fame guy, and we scored this situation where we were going to have lunch with Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier.
Wow.
At Nelson's Buffeteria downtown.
Yeah, sure.
And so there were about 6 or 8 of us in a room off to the side to get some privacy, you know. We walk into Nelson's Buffeteria at 11 a.m. and there weren't but a handful of people in there at that time, but their jaws drop, of course. It's Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Yeah. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And so we go to that back room, we have our lunch. About an hour and a half, I'd say, we were back there. Henry Primo was there, and Bill and Connors, me, a couple others. Yeah. And Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and their handlers. And unbelievable experience. But that was the first time Frazier and Ali had been in a room like that together since their third fight. They had been in the same vicinity for like the Boxing Hall of Fame induction and stuff, but they hadn't been like this, like you and I are right now, that close to each other since their third fight. And so Bill Connors very skillfully kind of got them to where they were talking to each other, and it was magic, absolute magic. Now I've gotten to talk with a lot of people over the years. Oh my gosh, Pete Rose, unforgettable interview with him, and so many others. Good grief. Tony Dorsett and Roger Staubach, and I mean, I'm leaving so many out, and I do love boxing. You mentioned that. Right. It's a very important sport in my life. I interviewed Mike Tyson at the Hard Rock. Wow. But yeah, I would say if there's any one day that I would tuck into a time capsule, it would be Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier lunch at Nelson's Buffeteria in the spring of '93. It was unforgettable.
Bill Haisten, thanks for the memories.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Chris.
Enjoyed all your columns throughout the years. Bill Haisten, columnist, Tulsa World. Read it, don't miss it. You'll enjoy it. We'll come back and Oklahoma Sports Scene next week. Special way. Until then, remind you, as we always say, always remember to be a good sport.